Hello, hello, hello. It's coffee time again once more. Can you believe it? It's Wednesday, halfway through the week already. What are we talking about? Oh, I don't know. They're already queuing. They're already queuing to see the Queen. As you can see, opposite the Houses of Parliament, the queuing has begun. They're all there, getting ready. 48 hours queues they're reckoning now. I thought you weren't allowed to bring tents. They're bringing tents. And it rained really heavily last night, and people are just there, just waiting. They're waiting for the movement of the coffin to Westminster Hall. So yeah, it's all happening, and I reckon this afternoon I was listening to an interview. A lady said at 3:30 they're going to move the first 50 of them closer to the venue and do the security sweeps and start leading them through so they can see the coffin lying in state. So yeah. Meanwhile, there's been a lot of people, lot of things closing. You had supermarkets and venues. Tears for Fears have cancelled their gig on Sunday out of respect for the Queen. There you go, Tears for Fears. Maybe I was wrong about them. Maybe they're good boys. But your Centre Parks, this was an odd one, because Centre Parks, for those of you who aren't in the know, they're what would you call them? Holiday complex, holiday homes, holiday park. Again, I don't know if you have them in the US, if you have similar things, but they're big resort things. I'm feeling very articulate today. But they announced they were closing on Monday, and that anybody who's booked would have to leave and come back again, which seems really odd, because if you're already booked and you're in the middle of your holiday, your stay at a Centre Parks venue, it seems a bit odd to have to pack your bags, leave and then come back again. But they've actually done a U-turn on this. They were saying that new arrivals will have to postpone their trips, but existing customers can remain, but restaurants and pools will be closed. You see, here's the exception to the rule, because people have paid good money, probably in months in advance, 6 months in advance, to have a break, and then they're told, I think this is the exception to the rule. I think there should be some continuity for those who have actually, like I say, they've booked. It's like booking a hotel, and the hotelier says, right, that's it, it's Queen's funeral, out you go. you'd be really, really miffed about it. Meanwhile, Sheffield International FC and Byron House, they're two amateur football clubs, are under investigation. Why? Because they were due to play on Saturday, September the 10th, and there was a blanket ban on football matches, and apparently they played a friendly game at the weekend, and now they're under investigation. It's a bit harsh, isn't it, really? And here is the photographic evidence. It's an open and shut case, Sherlock. By God, we've banged them to rights. Get the cuffs. You go from one extreme to the other. Come on, give them a break. Come on. Rugby was allowed. Rugby and golf were allowed to carry on, but football and I think the racing. But I think I know why, because I've got to find the story now, because I'm going to link this. I'm going to link this together. Have you been following the documentary on Disney Plus? Probably not, because you're probably not subscribed to Disney Plus. But there's a documentary on there at the moment about Wrexham Football Club, because it's owned by Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, two Hollywood types, and they've brought up Wrexham. It's a really good story, actually. It's a really good documentary. I'm really enjoying it. Again, I'm not a big football fan, but seeing what they're doing for the club is fascinating. But anyway, the club were playing Dagenham and Redbridge recently, and some fans booed. This was on Tuesday night. Some fans booed during the minute's silence for the Queen's passing. Yeah, so anyway, those fans were ejected from the stadium, and Wrexham has put out a statement today apologising and saying, "Oh, this is unacceptable." But this is the thing. This is your freedom of speech. The reason they were ejected wasn't because freedom of speech. It was because it was for their own safety, because other people in the ground were getting a little bit upset with them. And this is the thing about freedom of speech. You can have your freedom of speech, but if someone clops you around the mush for it, that's your lookout. And so, yeah, they were ejected and removed from the stadium for their own safety. And again, why would you do that? I do not know. I mean, but anyway, some people just have no class. I thought you Welsh folk were nice people. I didn't realise that you had uncultured oafs in Wales too. Meanwhile, James McLean, he plays for, is it Wigan? He's facing the ire of fans because during the minute's silence, he distanced himself from his colleagues. Here he is. There, he's number 11. He's distanced himself because, again, I think he's from the he was from the Republic of Ireland International, but he describes himself as a proud Fenian, and so yeah. And there's mixed emotions there. Some people think he's right, some people think he's wrong for doing that. It might have been better if he wasn't even on the pitch, So, yeah, there's the fallout of the Queen's passing. We're not going to hear the end of this for a long time. Meanwhile, this is probably the most serious. The most serious thing is, did you know that Guinea Pig Awareness Week has been postponed because of the Queen's passing? Yes, it has, and they've changed it. They've changed it to the 26th to the 30th of September. Mark that in your diaries. In your diaries. Meanwhile, a children's ride, which is, I don't know if have you ever watched the character Bing on children's TV? They're suspending the use of the ride whilst the nation is in mourning because, hey kids, you can't have any fun. No fun for you kids. Oh boy. Meanwhile, View Cinemas said that they will not be screening any blockbusters, but they will be showing the funeral. So, there you go. So you can go and see the funeral at the cinema with a big box of popcorn on your lap. And more. This is a fun fair in Brighton was closed out of respect. My God. I think they're doing it to turn all the children into Republicans. Meanwhile, this was in a supermarket. Obviously this is a kids' play area, and they've used the screen to announce the passing of the Madge. Can't get away from it. Meanwhile, buskers have gobsmacked because TfL, as Transport for London, have suspended busking on the London Underground during the period of mourning. I mean, come on. I mean, in Norwich, they've closed the cycle track. They're going a bit far. I mean, they're going a bit far. I think, Monday, fair enough, Bank Holiday Monday, we respect that. But everything else, I think it's all going a little bit too far, isn't it? Yeah, I do too. Everything is gone a bit bonkers. Need to calm down a bit. Calm down. Meanwhile, in Australia, because I'm sure we get some Australians, they're going to be having a protest in Brisbane. They're running a abolish the monarchy, stop the rot. Poster, mind you, the date's wrong. It can't be on. It's obviously not. It's on the 22nd, so they're not doing it on the day of the funeral. But yeah, a lot of the indigenous people of Australia see that this is, this bank holiday and this period of mourning as evidence of colonialisation. Well, yeah, what are you going to do? Kick all the Aussies out? Are the Australians going to hand back Australia to the indigenous people? I don't think so. I don't think so. It's like America, isn't it? Well, they give all that land back to the indigenous people. Don't work like that. It's all our fault for colonising and invading all over the world. Well, but that was before really imperialism, isn't it? It wasn't really imperialism that caused us to colonise America and Canada. That was about religious freedom. In Australia, we just dumped all our convicts there. And again, that wasn't really anything to do with the Queen, was it? Was it? You stole a loaf of bread, off to Australia with you. Those were the days. Those were the days. I'm joking, The little joke, the little laugh, ha 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 ha, illustrates I'm joking. So yeah, there's been a lot of strange fallout with this. Everyone's gone a little bit crazy. A little bit crazy. Bear with me, I'm just trying to get past all the Queen stories because there's a lot of them. There's an awful lot. Meanwhile, some footage has been unearthed of the Queen enjoying the racing. Here she is running outside to see her horse come in. I love this. She's watching it on the telly, and then look, she goes, right, I'm off, and then she's out the door with her binoculars. I love that. She loved the flutter, did the old Queen. Meanwhile, this fella, he's in trouble. Have we got a picture of him? Here we are. I think he's he hasn't got a name. They've not named him, but he's in a lot of bother. Why? Why is he in bother? Well, he got arrested. He's been arrested in Saudi Arabia, right? Because he decided to make a pilgrimage to Mecca, because he's a good Muslim chap. But he dedicated his pilgrimage to the passing of Queen Elizabeth, which goes against the rules, because you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to. You're not allowed to dedicate pilgrimages to deceased non-Muslims, and so he's been arrested. Oh, bloody hell! I mean, it's a nice thing to do. Can't they show him a little bit of mercy? My goodness, my goodness. What can we do? Anyway, let's leave the Queen and what's going on in the UK. Let's go to Taiwan. There's a harvest festival in Taiwan, And this is at the Taiwan Veterans Home, which is a state-run facility in Taiwan City. And yeah, they decided to get some entertainment in for the old fellas. You know, what was the entertainment? It was this, look. Oh, he's enjoying every minute of that. I mean, he hasn't forgotten. He remembers what his hands are for. And yeah, they got a stripper in. I think they're trying to kill off all the old men in the, you know, no bingo for us. Let's just get the strippers in. But yeah, they've had to apologise once this came out. The stripper was seen spreading her legs and touching her crotch while she lap danced in front of a group of pensioners who clapped along to the beat of the music. Normally, it would have been a Wednesday afternoon of them playing bingo, but boy, did temperatures and their pulses rise as she did her thing. But yeah, she said this would happen on September the 7th, 3 days before the region's annual Harvest Festival. But staff have had to apologise and deeply regret. But I had karaoke afterwards. I bet a lot of the fellas. So I'm just going back to my room for a bit. Just going back. I'm storing this. I'm just going back to my room. Now, Mrs., if you're watching, of course you are. That's the old folks' home I want to go to. All right, just dump me there. Oh dear. Have we got any other funnies? Oh, this is an interesting one. This is some court news. We're going to. This is a industrial tribunal. A fella, it's not a fella, it's a lady. Sorry, I haven't read the story yet. Let me read the story. A lady called Madly Masango was fired. Right, she was sacked, and she took her bosses to court, CPL Aromas. To an employment tribunal for unfair dismissal, but the tribunal in East London dismissed her claims. Now, what was she accused of? Now, this is really interesting. They accused her of sending emails using a personal email account with details of, well, perfumes, you know, the company's intellectual property. Now, she claimed she was just using her personal account to send information home so she could work from home, but it was, you know, it was deemed as breaking the company rules. And again, these companies hold their IP very seriously, and so if you'd act anything like, I mean, there would have been clauses in her employment contract, you know, stating that she wasn't allowed to use personal email addresses. And yeah, they realised that once they realised that she was using her home email address, that they'd lost all control of the confidential information held within the company. It was like an open door almost. And so yeah, she sued her employer for age discrimination, wrongful and unfair dismissal, but all the instances were dismissed. Fascinating, that. Fascinating. No, intrigue in the world of perfume. No? Meanwhile, I have a follow-up to a story earlier on, another tribunal. This is about that teacher. Don't worry, just waiting for the browser to do its filthy business. Come on, Safari. You can do it. Yeah, this is about Derek Turkington. We did mention him earlier in the year. This is the chap. But yeah, the results of his case has come in now. That he was described as a kind of Benny Hill character and acted in a number of very strange and suggestive ways. He posed with a prosthetic penis and waved it around and made suggestive movements to his colleagues. Putting it just being weird. He was accused of screaming at a pupil and telling a pupil that their dad clearly didn't care about him and that he needs to move on and get a grip. A third accusation, he nailed a piece of wood over a school door, resulting in distress to the pupils present. God, these are weak. When I was at school, they used to throw blackball rubbers at us and bits of chalk to get our attention. In a hearing in June, his colleague Martin Newcombe said there was a big box of prosthetic penises, so it should be plural, in the room, just off the guidance room, and people would store their coffee and tea in there. This is at a school. Why would you have a big box of prosthetic penises in a school? And why would you store your tea and coffee in there? And Derek would often play around with his prosthetics. I took no offence of what he did, but another staff laughed it off too. But he was kind of a Benny Hill character. It was just Derek being Derek. Yeah, the penises apparently were used to show on how to put a condom. Really, I'm surprised he didn't. No, Anyway, he's been struck off. Just to get to the bottom of it, he's been struck off. He will never be a danger to those prosthetic penises again. Meanwhile, we're going back to I was talking about Wrexham. Do you remember we was talking about Wrexham? Well, the owners of Wrexham. I actually watched this video yesterday. I was talking about with the missus, right, missus? But yeah, the owners of Wrexham, Ryan Reynolds and Rob McElhenney, made a YouTube video in which they both have colostomies, colonoscopies. Did I say colonoscopies? I think I said that right. It's where you put a camera in your bottom, and so here he is with his doctor. You didn't see it going in or anything. It wasn't that good, but they found a polyp in Ryan Reynolds' colon, and they removed it. But McElhenney beat him because he had 6 polyps. So yeah, McElhenney won the polyp race there. But yeah, the video's been made for a new campaign called Lead From Behind, in association with the Colorectal Cancer Alliance. So yeah, if you see that popping up on your YouTube timeline, give it a look, because it's interesting. But from one bottom to another, I don't plan any of this. I don't. We're going to the international journey of case study reports. Yeah? Right, this is a good one. 51-year-old man, right? Ended up in hospital. Why? What did he do? He stuck a plastic ball in his bottom. Why did he do it? To treat his hemorrhoids. Yeah, the object was like tennis ball sized, and he pushed it in 2 days before to treat his piles, but he couldn't get it out again. But yeah, the doctors, it was in Jordan, revealed that he tried to extract the foreign body using a screwdriver and a spoon. Remember, folks, a screwdriver and a spoon will not work. This was at the Princess Basma Teaching Hospital in Irbid, and here's the X-ray, and there it is. Here it is. Do you want to see a picture of the ball? Do you want to see a picture of the ball? Are you ready for this? That's the ball, right? That's after they removed it. Apparently, that ball was part of a vacuum cleaner, right? But they got it out. They got it out in a grisly 7-hour operation. And here's a picture of the ball on one of those scans. You know, look at that. You can see it goes right through him. This is like a cross section of it. But they got it out, and he's fine. He's fine now. But doctors, now, are you ready for this? Right? Oh, do you want to know how they got it out? They very carefully cut the ball into sections and removed it because it was hard. They carefully cut it. They used a drill. They inserted a drill into his dilated anus. Oh, imagine that. Steady your hand. I can't. It's not brain surgery. No, it ain't. Wrong end. And yes, they carefully cut the ball and retrieved it. But do you want to know the twist? It's an M. Night Shyamalan kind of twist. It's almost Hitchcockian, the twist. When doctors examined his anus, there were no signs of hemorrhoids. There we go. There were no hemorrhoids. Now we normally end on an animal story, and there's a distinct lack of animal stories at the moment. So I'm gonna look in my file to see if we can find an animal story. Here we go. This is an old one from last month, end of August. All right. Now this is up in West Yorkshire. West Yorkshire Fire Service were called out when Sid the snake escaped. He's a boa constrictor. He's 6 foot long, right? And his owner got a bit panicked, obviously, because this orange boa constrictor got out of his tank and was on the loose. And I was kind of worried he might have got out. But they found him wedged in a mattress in the bed springs after escaping from his tank. But good job that the fire service were on hand, so I managed to cut him free. And yeah, a snake story. That's it. You could say he was a slippery character. I don't know. I've just, I've got nothing. Like I said, that's it. I don't think I've got any more. I don't think I've got any more animal stories left. This is terrible. What am I going to do? Anyway, let's see if there's anybody in the chat. My goodness, there is. Chris is in. Hey, Dave says I'm cleaning my kitchen and catching up. Good for you. Good for you. Don't forget that chip that went under the sink. It's gone right to the back. You might need to get out. Use a stick. Use a stick. Maybe a long wooden spoon. You might be able to get it out. That works for me. They said, "Are we entering a new type of Dark Ages?" No, don't really. Alex says the Queen State Funeral now in IMAX. They're giving you 3D glasses as well, and in surround sound. You're an imperialist. Oh, I'm going to have to ban you, Alex. Katz said it's 4:40. No, it's not. It's 10 to 1. They're doing their bookkeeping. God, you have an even more exciting life than I do. Having a late night or an early morning. Well, you know, you're a big person now. You're not. Yeah. I'm not even going to say that comment. Drills work better. Alex says, if it's part of a vacuum, surely just suck it back out again. I think it was lodged in. It was lodged in. And Alex says, just seen my first Queen joke on Facebook. It referenced Queen song, another one bites the dust. I'm not a fan of royals, but I wouldn't joke about it. Oh, I've seen it ages ago. There's been lots of things. There was a good thing where they had the Queen as Freddie Mercury. That was another memey thing. There's been a lot of memey things. I don't know if I'll be able to find it now, because you know what I'm like. Let's have a look. Is there a picture of it? I don't think I'll be able to find it. Here we go. Oh, this was a picture that was doing arounds the other day, which was kind of fun. And people are asking if it's by Banksy or not. There was some rumour that Banksy created it, but that's not really his MO, isn't it? He'd probably create a picture of the Queen, I don't know, on fire or something, because he's edgy. Oh, where's the chat window gone? I've lost you. Yeah, I don't think the snake would want to go up there. You'd have to, I don't know, put some mice up the anus, and then we're getting to felching territory. I never thought we'd talk about felching. Just don't look up Richard Gere. Blunt says, I'm almost impressed how quickly these memes are made. It's like they had them all on standby. Well, when I was a member of Her Majesty's Press, and I worked at the shit end of teletext, we wrote all the we had to revise all the biographies of the royals, Queen Mother, all the royals and famous prime ministers, anyone of note. We had them on file, and every so often you'd pull them out, make sure that they were still relevant, put them back in the file again. So yeah, if we were doing it, I'm sure all the meme people were doing it too. They're very organised now. Anyway, thanks for watching. No one else is. It's just us. And I guess we'll do this all again. That was the news. I've done enough damage for today. Killing the channel, one video at a time. You better drink it up. Ta-ta.